which young players on the roster are flashing in practice, on scout team, on both offense and defense, and who we might not be seeing a lot of in the games?
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll just start on offense. I mean, certainly offensive line, I'd say Jalen Rivers. Jalen actually got a couple snaps in our heavy package on Saturday, but we're really excited about Jalen's development as a tackle, which is pretty unique for a guy his size. So I would say he's flashing. Certainly I think the wide receivers have all gotten into games, and I think they've shown their potential, and I think they'll continue to develop and improve. But we really like the group of young wideouts that we have, and obviously the running backs everybody's had a chance to see. Dom Mammarelli played a lot in the game with Brevin being absent. Dom was outstanding on special teams on Saturday as well. So, and then Tyler Van Dyke, we're very excited to watch Tyler every week in practice. He's getting better and better. And I think he's got everybody on the inside of the program pretty excited about him. Defensively, I really feel the same way. Obviously you've seen Brian Balaam get into some games. Isaiah Dunston's been able to get into some games. Jalen Harrell, got pushed into duty this past Saturday and went out there and for what he was asked to do, ran around and made some good tackles. The linebackers, everybody's seen Flag, but Tyreek Austin Cave, when he and Avery Huff, can just get the assignments down, their athleticism is, I think, what we've been, wanting to get at linebacker, and I think those guys will improve us once they know what they're doing. And then up front, whether it's Elijah Roberts, Quentin Williams, Chance Williams, all those guys flash for us in practice. So I should kind of say it over and over again, but I almost feel like I'm listening about all of them. But it's a talented class. Isaiah Walker has come in and done some things, and really shown his skill set, which is exciting. Helping us out as with our scout team guys. So really, I think the entire class, we would recruit them all again if given the opportunity.
As a quick follow, is Tyler Van Dyke getting to the point where he can challenge Nkosi, or is that a little bit down the road? And also, of those young freshman receivers, are any of them standing out above the other?
The first part of your question, yeah, I would say that's true. I think we want competition. I think Tyler and Nkosi are pushing each other, and both those guys know that they've got to stay prepared and because they could go in at any time. And then of the wide receivers, they're all just different. I think Keyshawn Smith, maybe flashes the most because of his outstanding speed, but Redding's just got a knack for stacking people on the outside and making plays down the field. And then, of course, Restrepo's skill set, with his short area quickness on the inside of the field. And Daz Worsham is a guy, again, who's got a good attitude and is working every day and is talented as well. So they're just all a little bit different, but I think what probably is Keyshawn's speed probably flashes above all the skill sets.
Follow. Can you talk a little bit about Tyler Van Dyke's development, and is he getting to the point where he's challenging Nkosi for number 2? Just we don't really get to see him. So how's Tyler coming along as a quarterback and in the competition at that position?
Yeah, Tyler's coming along nicely. He's a guy that, I think it was a week or two ago, one of y'all asked maybe about him. I feel really good about where he's progressing as a true freshman. It's weird in season, you got your starter, you're not really having competitions at other places. And so I feel, as do our coaching staff, I think, feel good that, both Nkosi and Tyler would give us an opportunity to win if they were called upon. So that's a nice situation to be in where you don't feel like you've only got one guy or maybe two. Nkosi's played a lot of ball. And even though Tyler hadn't really done it because he's a true freshman, and I'm sure there would be growing pains, he's very mature for a freshman. He handles himself and prepares very well, and I think he's gotten better throughout the course of the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, which a lot of times kids hit that freshman wall. So I think even though y'all don't get to see him and nobody does, he's still progressing very nicely.
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny?
Hey, Coach Lash, you got two quick ones for you. First one, Navon Donaldson, Jalen Rivers. I know Coach talks a lot about competition and getting guys to sort of compete maybe for some of those interior spots. Where's Navon in his comeback, and where's Jalen in his development?
Navon, he's not cleared yet, so that's really not an option at the moment. But I think he's really improving and doing some really good things. Hopefully maybe later this year, for sure next year that'll be the case. And then, Jalen Rivers is kind of like Tyler Van Dyke, for a freshman. He's a guy that if he had to play, we feel like he could, and that he would get better each week. He's definitely, in the top 6, 7, 8 guys on that O-line, and a guy that gets a lot of reps each week. And, who knows what the last 5 to 6, 7 weeks of the season will hold. But he's a guy that I think, is a little – doesn't act like a true freshman, and I think his future is very bright. So, that's definitely – and like you saw, competition's always a big deal. And competition makes us all better. And so you're kind of always competing. You saw how that helped the receivers last week. So I think that's the same situation at every position still.
On with the freshman running backs, you compared to Cameron Harris, is there something they're doing better when they have their opportunities, the way you see them running the football? And then I also wanted to ask, because you touched on the receivers and the deep balls, how about your assessment of De'Ara King throwing those deep balls as well?
Hi, Coach. I was going to ask you about the 2 defensive end Williams, your 2 freshmen. So not Cameron, but talking about Chance and Quentin, what you've seen from them. And I was curious with Jalen Harrell, why the decision on the staff's part to make him safety as opposed to striker or corner? Are his skills just, you think, better suited for safety?
That's a good question. I think overall, when you look at who has played striker for us, and even when I was at Louisiana Tech, kind of the same thing, it always ends up being a safety that spins down into that position. So, that's something down the road that might be a possibility for Jalen. But when you look at total depth of this year going into the season, we felt Jalen was better suited to help us as a defense in that role. When you talk about, Gilbert and Keontre, and Avery Huff's gotten some snaps over there as well. So I feel really, really good at that position, but, we might be sitting here in 3 weeks talking about Jalen Harrell at striker, right? The way this season's going. So that's a good question. It could happen. It's something that is to be determined, but right now we feel really good about that striker room and the depth standpoint we have there. And then what was your other question?
Right, just about Chance and Quentin Williams, just skills that you've seen in both of them, Blake.
Chance is, man, he's very, very technique sound. You could tell he was extremely well coached in high school. Smart young man, bigger than really I anticipated him probably being at such a young age. I want to say I think he's maybe 260 pounds right now and can still run like a deer. So, this is an opportunity. I think this bye week, and we'll see how practice ends up going. But this is an opportunity. I think he could really press for playing time in the second half of the season as we move forward. Quentin Williams has done some really good things. We've actually worked him a little bit inside and outside as well. So he's a guy that has kind of bounced around for us. But you can see how physical he is, extremely heavy-handed. But really impressed with those guys. Like I said, they're both young. But our young guys, man, they keep, it's behind the scenes, obviously, nobody being at practice or anything, but our young guys are stepping up in a big way. And as we continue to self-scout ourselves over this bye week and moving forward, I think you'll see more and more young guys play for us. Really, really encouraged by our freshman class, man. They're blue collar. They come to work every day. Don't say much, quiet group, but they're the real deal. Really happy with all of them.